Everybody was alarmed about the epidemic of clown sightings throughout the country. Everybody except Melody. The autumn of 2016 didn't bring forth a sinister strain of influenza, but brought forth a swarm of men in clown costumes who were around chasing and scaring people. Some stores actually ceased the sale of clown masks. Some schools had canceled after-school activities. Football teams were forced to practice inside the gymnasium. There was even a clown sighting on the local golf course in Melody's town in Lynn, Massachusetts. The clown emerged out of the Linwood reservations and onto the greens of Gannon Golf Course in Lynn, and proceeded to chase a party of silver-haired men in polo shirts with cigars in their mouths. How confused they were, for the clown was not wearing appropriate golf attire. It showed a mouthful of fangs, while its curly red hair bounced in abundance with its charge. The golfers dispersed in different directions, some diving into their golf carts, one making a vain attempt to fit himself inside the second hole, while another peed his trousers. Onlookers had reported this while watching from a safe distance. The clown's giggles traveled across the green as it ran back to the tree line of Linwoods. On the night of October 21st, 2016, Melody was strutting down the side of a dozy road in a lesser populated part of New England. She was cold. She didn't have any pants on, only black panties and translucent stockings that went up above the knee. The autumn night air was sowing goosebumps into her bare thighs, which jiggled ever so slightly while she walked, tapping the pavement with her high heels. Technically, she was wearing a skirt, but it acted more so as a shirt, barely falling down past her belly. The skirt was an extension to a black crop top that had silver buttons on it. Yes, Melody was out trying to attract a clown. The street lights, which were being cast down like the headlights of a Roswell UFO, made Melody's beige-colored skin seem tanner, and also accentuated the goosebumps on her bare shoulders. She kept looking over her shoulder, but all she could see was the rows of streetlights along the expanse of malnourished wood. Not even mosquitoes swarmed beneath every streetlight. Between the woods and the road, there ran one of those foot-high stone walls that New England is stitched up with. She kept looking into the woods, the short stone wall making her feel taller than she was, and she saw no organs in the skeletal trees. Her legs and feet ached. She was a long way from home, but she needed to see a clown. She needed a clown to see her. Something about the fear excited her. She wanted to see somebody that didn't belong where they were, and nobody seemed to belong on a desolate night, especially a clown, or especially her. She reached into her purse and retrieved a bicycle horn. She held it lackadaisically over her shoulder and honked it. The honk echoed down the street, with the night perverting its echo. She stopped honking the bicycle horn the instant she heard a twig breaking from the cavities of the tree line smile. She gulped, the muscles in her throat working like a car brake. She came to a stop. She looked ahead. She was ready, but also nervous. She felt her chest undulating with the quickening of her breath. Another twig broke. Already she was wondering what color hair the clown would have, if it would be wearing makeup or a mask. Oh, she hoped it was a clown wearing white makeup. Her excitement deflated like a balloon. A dirty old farmer was creeping out of the tree line, stepping over the little stone wall with his double-barrel shotgun at his hip. The way his mouth concaved on itself suggested that he didn't have all of his teeth. He wore denim overalls over a beige and brown checkered shirt. The top of his head was bald and reflected the streetlights, but hedges of silver wool poofed up behind his ears. Melody batted her eyes while the little farmer crept out into the street. "I hear you, you damn dirty clown," the farmer sneered into the darkness on the side of the street. He hadn't seen Melody yet, but he certainly heard her bicycle horn. An important detail to note about the farmer was that he was smaller than Melody. Melody was in heels, and the farmer might have been around 5'2". She wasn't sure if it was safe to approach him because he had a gun, and he also appeared very disheveled. "Where are you?" he sneered, swiveling in place, his demeanor flattening when he saw Melody. Melody was not a clown. "Young lady, what are you doing out here?" "Oh, just walking," Melody said, looking like a damsel. "What are you doing, mister?" "I'm hunting these damn clowns," he sneered. Melody raised her brow. "Did you hear that clown horn? They were honking out here," he asked. "That was me." What were you honking out here for?" Melody's body recoiled as giggles ran through it. "I'm trying to attract a clown." She rolled her eyes. "What are you trying to do that for?" The way that Melody paused should have been enough of an answer for the farmer, but Melody's damsel in distress facade was corrupted by a guilty expression. Still, the farmer wasn't connecting the dots. "And what are you dressed like that for, young lady? Don't you know it ain't awful warm tonight?" "I know, but no clown's gonna want a girl that doesn't slay." The farmer was frozen in confusion for a few seconds. "You got a thing for clowns, young lady?" the farmer asked, with disappointment already in his voice. To this, Melody got a ditzy kind of shrug. The farmer sighed. "Anyway, what's your name? I gotta get you home." "Melody, you don't have to get me home," she said, and asked only out of politeness, "What's your name?" "I'm Morris, the clown hunter," he said proudly. "Have you caught any yet?" Melody asked, to which the farmer shook his head. "Although I seen one creeping through my pumpkin patch." "And," Melody said, eyeing Morris's shotgun, "do you intend to shoot one?" "I intend to catch the damn dirty clown who's been creeping through my pumpkin patch. My cat, Ursula, was growling at the window at 4 this morning. Nobody disturbs my Ursula, especially no damn clown." "I'm looking for the dirty ones, too," Melody said. "The first rule of clown hunting is no laughing," Morris said, while the two of them crept through the crooked woods. Melody held the flashlight, and Morris held the shotgun, with both of them being very mindful of how their feet crunched down on the dead leaves. His breath smelled of cough drops and good Irish whiskey, but he wasn't slurring his words at all. "Then there's the second rule. Never wave back at 'em. Rule 3, do not accept a balloon or flowers from them. Rule 4 is don't comfort a sad clown. They're only looking for your pity. They're faking it. They want you to let your guard down." "Morris," Melody said, rolling her eyes, "I know all this already." "What's Rule 7, then?" "Never go clown hunting alone," Melody said, making a lucky guess. "Which is why you have a lot of explaining to do, young lady. I can do it 'cause I'm older, but a young lady like yourself shouldn't be out here clown hunting all alone." "Tell me, Morris, how do you track a clown?" "You often find them at playgrounds after dark when all the kiddies go home," he explained. "That's why I'm leading us to the playground by the woods, right beyond the tree line over there." They chanced upon this playground after the walk in the woods continued. Melody's flashlight shone forward, but it seemed to be shunned by the brown and rusting playground. The rusty slide, the pillars of the monkey bars, the swing set that creaked in the wheezing autumn breeze was all so disgusted by the premise of Melody's flashlight. Still, the pair tiptoed on to the mulch. Morris sniffed the air. He cranked his head up and turned it slowly. Melody gasped. "I should have thought of coming here." Morris ignored her and crept forward. He walked his shotgun, and his face cringed in the darkness because of how hard he was concentrating. He didn't notice Melody starting to swing on the pole that held up the swing set. She pole danced in the residue of the street lights that glowered over so weakly from the parking lot. She didn't care how cold the pole was on her bare thighs. She hooked her legs around it and twirled while the swings on the swing set creaked. Morris crept himself into a trance. His shotgun seemed to lose its power in his hand as he crept across the mulch towards the parking lot that had no clowns. He was unaware that Melody was dancing behind him. "No clowns here," he muttered to himself. Morris found no clowns after walking the perimeter of the playground's parking lot. He even gave the mud surrounding the cement an eye the Greek fates would have envied, and still he found no clown tracks. Tired from dancing, Melody rejoined him, and the two continued on. Morris carried the gun, and Melody carried her ass. She was enunciating that part of her body while she walked, and Morris lacked any sort of ass himself. He was wearing those overalls anyway, so it didn't matter. They entered the woods again. "I'm never going to get a clown," Melody stomped her foot. This made Morris pause. His mouth was recalculating how many teeth it had left before he spoke. "Now, there's no reason to get upset, young lady. Nobody catches a clown on their first day." He smacked his lips and waddled over to his partner. She was grimacing. She was pouting the way that only celebrities can pout. She was so upset that she didn't flinch when the farmer put his sandpaper hand on her shoulder. "It's all right, young lady. Those damn dirty clowns are sneaky bastards, you know. In fact, I think you're brave for even coming out. It's nice to see young folks interested in keeping the community safe." Morris was giving Melody a sincere expression. He wanted her to be okay, but she either didn't see his sympathetic look or she didn't care. She looked up at the ceiling of prickly branches as if the branches lied to her. She had shaved her legs for this. She felt let down, disappointed, betrayed, rejected by the clowns. "Tell you what," Morris stammered, "you and I, we're going to catch ourselves one of those clowns." Melody was too agitated to acknowledge him. She had folded her arms and kept her gaze attentively on the branches above. "I just want a clown." Her voice shook defeatedly. Morris wanted to say something to console her, but his tongue and lips were once again recalculating how many teeth he had left. All he could do was escort her through the barren woods. They cleared the skeleton of an old house, only finding cobwebs and rocking chairs that hadn't been sat in for hundreds of years. And their legs could have told stories of the time when witches supposedly existed. Melody didn't care what the grandmother rocking chairs had to say about witches. She only cared about the clowns. She wanted a clown. She needed a clown. She didn't even care what the farmer had to say about it. She just needed it, and there were no clowns in sight. "Slow down, little girl," Morris regretfully ordered. He put his hand on her shoulder again. There was defeat in her face and concern in his. They walked back to Morris's pumpkin patch, and he showed her the clown tracks that zigzagged between the pumpkins. He pointed out each footprint with his shotgun, and every footprint represented one giant clown shoe. This seemed to only make Melody sadder, though. Seeing this, and seeing the long expression falling on Melody's face, Morris offered to make her a cup of hot cocoa. "Come on in and warm up," Morris said with all his teeth. Melody followed him into the shack beside the pumpkin patch, which Morris casually called a farmhouse. It smelled like mold and mothballs, and seemed in no better shape than the house in the woods. The kitchen had a window that looked out over the pumpkin patch. It was only out of politeness that Melody asked if Morris ran a good business selling his pumpkins. He went through the politics of pumpkins while preparing 2 cups of hot cocoa, pausing to ask, "Fluff or marshmallow?" "Both," Melody cooed dreamily. The fluff that bobbed atop the hot chocolate reminded her of white clown makeup, and it made her woefully sad. Morris had a funny way of consuming hot chocolate. It injected a Botox of delight into him, and his face went cartoonish with glee. It made his eyes pop. He licked his lips at every sip. "Are you warm enough, young lady?" he asked, unaware about the brushstrokes of fluff atop his lips. Yes, Melody giggled. Well, no clown tiptoed through Morris's pumpkin patch that night. The sun did come up, unexpectedly, and Morris had breakfast for the two of them. Melody offered to do the dishes, and Morris offered to drive her home afterwards. They got into Morris's rusty pickup truck. The chickadees were chirping songs of condolences to Melody. Melody had come to find the smell of mold, mothballs, and cough drops endearing, and she was glad that the pickup truck smelled like all three. Morris was a good man who had good old man smells about him. She tried taking it all in while she helped navigate Morris down the highway and into the suburbs where people were raking leaves and walking their dogs. "And you take a right here," Melody said. Morris did so, bringing the truck down another quaint street. "And you're going to go straight past that church." "All right, young lady," Morris said, speaking to keep his teeth in order and not speaking to speak. "Wait," Melody cried. Morris stopped the truck in the middle of the street. He saw it too, their faces awed behind the windshield as they watched Misfit, the birthday clown, walk across a lawn and into the backyard of somebody's house. The sound of children crying erupted when he disappeared into the backyard. Neither Morris or Melody had to speak. They unbuckled the truck's doors and burst open. Morris grabbed his double-barrel shotgun, and Melody ran her hands down her outfit, smoothing out any wrinkles. She looked down at her assets while Morris checked to see if his shotgun was in order. He clicked it back up, and the two hurried over to the house that the clown had disappeared behind. Morris walked as if his shotgun was leading the way, and Melody walked as if her body was leading the way. They walked over the lawn as the sound of children cheering and squeaking over each other filled the morning. Little Jimmy's parents thought they only had ordered a clown for their son's 7th birthday party, so they and the other adults never expected to see a short, grungy-looking farmer with a gun and a scantily dressed woman appear in their backyard. The kids were all sitting on the grass, watching Misfit the birthday clown tie a balloon animal, when Morris and Melody burst into the backyard. The adults gasped, the children screamed, and the little girls in terror, the little boys in confusion. Tears had already started flowing when Morris pointed the shotgun right at Misfit the birthday clown. "Put 'em up, you damn dirty clown, or else I'll pop you like a balloon," Morris sneered. "Mr. Clown!" Melody threw her pleading voice into the air. She jumped in place. The children started flocking towards their parents, while Misfit the birthday clown scrambled into the house. There was a pleading no from a mother that went ignored. Melody and Morris followed Misfit the birthday clown. How uncoordinated the clown ran. It was difficult to run in those oversized shoes. "Come here, Mr. Clown," Melody called through the chase. "Come on." "Get back here," Morris howled. Misfit the birthday clown burst out the front door and onto the front yard. Morris fired and missed, a round of buckshot going into someone's car. Melody shimmied through the smell of smoke. It was difficult for her to run, too, because she was trying to keep herself together as she went. "Clown, look at me!" she cried as Misfit the birthday clown got into his car. Melody banged on the door, but the car sped away. Morris ran into the middle of the street and fired at the car's tires as they screeched away. So the pair stood there as the children cried. It wasn't long before the sounds of sirens came. Melody was catching her breath while she could smell the farmer's cough drop breath working in overdrive as well. They looked and watched the clown escape, for it was all they could do as the flashing blue and red lights appeared behind them. You're still here. Thanks for stopping by. Dr. Plague here. Always a pleasure to see all my new and old viewers coming by for another one of my spooky tales. If you'd like to support the show, you can always take part in one of our channel offers through Fume or Aura, or you can just click on another video when they come up. I'd really appreciate it. For our newer viewers, we also have lots of playlists and other things if you'd like to get caught up. I know some of my series have been going on for quite a while. If you'd like to get my latest book, there's a link down below that'll take you to my Amazon page. Towesey Homestead just came out, so if that's something you'd like to get your hands on, go ahead and have a look down there. If you'd like a signed copy, you can go ahead and email me from my email address on the site, and I'll get with you about shipping information and ship you a signed copy. If you'd like to support the channel in a more monetary fashion, we also have membership through YouTube, and we've got a Patreon that you can get the information for in the description. We have lots of tiers and everything to suit your needs. Patrons that support on the $10 tier, that's our Ghostly Reader tier, get a book anytime I write one, signed and on their doorstep. As you may have noticed, there's a list of patrons and members on the screen, and I'd like to personally thank every one of them for taking a hand in the future of this channel. Well, that's enough for tonight. Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.